What is up, team? Welcome back to the Red Storm Rapid Reaction Podcast. I'm Pat Kane, and St. John's just moved to 4-1 in Big East play with a nail biter. They held on just long enough to beat Providence at the Garden, 75-73. I'm joined once again by my good friend and co-host Cole Latshaw. Cole, how you feeling after that narrow escape?
You and I were texting each other during the game, just survive in advance. Like, put another one in the win column and walk away and forget it. Flush the tape. I'm sure Pochettino will have the guys running sprints after some of their performances today, but at the end of the day, got to win. And I think, knock on wood, we are potentially one win away on Saturday from being a ranked team in the top 25. So at the end of the day, happy to get a W, but definitely some things that need to be cleaned up for sure.
Sure. I don't know what we want to do here in terms of what we can talk about, because St. John's is 4-1, and every St. John's fan should be ecstatic. This is what we want. This is how it is supposed to be for St. John's, to be 4-1, to be atop the Big East standings. And I just know there's going to be fans who are down a little bit about how we played and how we finished this game. And I look at it as if, could we have done a million things better and then close that out and then felt better about this win? As a fan base, absolutely. But, I think St. John's has to look at it as almost a great positive that they're able to learn that lesson again in a win, that these games are never truly wrapped up until that last whistle's blown, until 40 minutes are off the clock. And there was, a handful of occasions tonight where St. John's seemingly could have put the game away and didn't do just that, whether it was a poor pass or a missed closeout or a missed box out. St. John's didn't quite get it done in terms of making it an easy finish, but they did just enough to make it a win, and that's really all that matters. So while there might be a sour taste in some fans' mouth, hopefully they can take a step back and realize it's never easy. There's always two teams out there, and St. John's was lucky enough. We should be thankful enough to be on the positive side of a win and be 4-1. All smiles from me, never complain about a loss.
Yeah, you mentioned the St. John's fan, and I did want to bring something up before we start critiquing the game. A lot has been said about the St. John's fans' response to how the team's been playing and the turnout for today's game. I think the announced attendance by MSG today was just shy of 12,000 for a 6:30 tip against Providence. And obviously it sounded like a very pro St. John's crowd. I don't think that's terrible. And I didn't see anybody bring up the point that the kids are away still on winter break, not returning, not starting classes until the 17th. And it did kind of look like the student sections were a little bare. So I don't think that's the worst turnout, and they were a lively bunch. So, tip of the cap to the fans, tip of the cap to the fans that were there, because it definitely seemed to get the team up and push us through to the end. So,
yeah, well, the Providence faithful did make some noise there in the second half. As they used to when Cooley was in town, and as they will continue to do so, it seems. But St. John's held serve and took advantage of, whatever home court advantage they did have at the Garden against a team that wouldn't go away. What were your thoughts on Providence?
Like the way that Carter kid played. One of the questions you and I both were wondering was Glenn Taylor Jr. only getting 2 minutes today. I wonder how much he could have helped slow down Carter. He looked great. I really thought the kid's name is escaping me now, but I really thought we caught a break when their big man caught that fourth foul. Yeah, because he seemed to be causing some troubles down low. I thought Kim English coached a very good game. He was kind of my naivete of mid-major basketball. He was kind of one of the coaches I thought less of coming into this season. And I thought Providence would, despite having a great roster, would maybe take a step back with going from Cooley to Kim English. But I thought in spurts, he outcoached Pitino today. I was really impressed with some of the moves he made. And, they didn't seem to back down when we established those large leads. They kept grinding away and chipping down. Thank God we were able to get a 2-point win.
Definitely credit to those guys and credit to Kim English. I did laugh to myself. I find it so annoyingly corny with the whole mindset cliche that they're pushing for him in Providence. And then at one point when they stormed back to take the lead, there was a clip of him on the sideline literally going mindset. And then from that point on, I think we went on a 12-0 run. So I was laughing a little bit in my head. But all the credit to him, like you said, he he threw a good game out there and did some stuff that worked his team back in. They certainly didn't fold when it looked like they could have folded early. Unfortunately for them, fortunately for us, we made just enough plays when it needed to be made. Boy, those free throws didn't quite make it easy for us. I know Providence struggled early from the line, but to close it out, we were rough. Joel split a bunch, and then Brady went to the line with a bum ankle, down or up one with a chance to get a 3-point lead, and missed them both. I thought it was a risky proposition having him out there. If you would have made that second one, if you would have made the first and missed the second, neither team had a timeout, you would have been stuck with hobbled Brady Dunlap out on the court, needing to get a stop to escape. So, it worked out, and Lewis made a heck of an athletic play. Just, what he does is he's got, this side of the ledger filled out and the very bottom side of the ledger in terms of amazing plays and, not so, fun or easy to watch plays. He gets, all ends of the spectrum, and he made a big one there, hit a free throw, and then it was just enough time off the clock to force a tough shot from Pierre, who came up short on his last shot. One of the few shots he missed tonight. He was extremely impressive in a return back to New York City for him.
Yeah, for the few lackadaisical passes that RJ threw that caused turnovers, for throwing the ball off that guy's back that almost was another turnover late in the game, when he secures a rebound like that, just off of a pure out athleticism, somebody else, I can't critique him too much. So but free throws just continue to be a problem. And like, you're right, when you're trying to salt away a game with a lead, you can't. Between Joel, Brady, and RJ missed at least 5 or 6 free throws in the last 4 minutes of game time. You're lucky to escape a game like that.
Yep, like I said, hopefully learn that lesson and win. But yeah, there was 2 stretches, or I don't even know if you call them stretches, but there was a 5-point play that originally got them back in the game late. They hit a tough 3 that, tip your cap, and then RJ made that poor pass on the baseline. And then just weirdly enough, looked like he had no interest in denying a shot at the rim, where, we see how athletic, how capable he is of covering ground. He just stood right there as Carter took his time going up with, I think, Jenkins on his back. I thought it was an odd-looking sequence, and a 5-point play there got him within striking distance. And then later, Carter gets fouled on that 3-point attempt, makes the first 2. First off, that was a bad, whatever. I don't like getting on referees for whatever amount
Kicking
of
his leg
calls
out like
might go, but that was a brutal call in a tough time, and gave him 3 points. I think he might have missed the third, but they got an offensive rebound or a jump ball out of it. And earlier in that half, there was that play where one official had the jump ball, the other official had a foul on St. John's. Instead of going with the foul or with the jump ball, they went with the foul. So that would have been St. John's possession had the official not came in and changed the call up. So there's a few stretches there that led to them having the opportunity, and then of course us not finishing some free throws, making a few poor plays defensively, allowed them to do the rest of the part. But hey, like I said, all smiles, 4-1 on top of the Big East standings, tied with Seton Hall. Wow, how about those guys? And my guy Dylan, have yourself a day of Wusu. Playing well, and looking forward to us taking down Creighton this weekend. And I'm rooting for Seton Hall until we face them. Hopefully we face off as right atop the standings.
Yeah. And you brought up Daniss. I know I specifically was super critical of him early in the season, and I just want to commend him. I know I've done it a lot the last few podcasts, but the turnaround that he's made over the last 8 or 9 games now has been absolutely incredible. The way he's limited his turnovers, he's taking much better shots, shooting way more efficiently. 16-8, 4 rebounds, only 2 turnovers. He entered today's game 4th in guards in the Big East assist to turnover ratio, and then obviously went up after today's performance. So
sure.
Just what a job he's doing, specifically taking care of the ball, making better passes, taking better shots. I think he's doing a great job. So tip of the cap to him.
He's been great. And I think
eat my words. I will eat my words anytime when it comes to player performing better than I was critiquing him for. So
I think you're off the hook at this point, Cole. It's well earned by Daniss, and deservedly so. He's been getting a lot of praise lately. Another really good game by him. He did hit his handful of 3-point attempts. Was the first time he's got hot from there for a while. And if he doesn't get hot early and make 4 to 5 from three, maybe this game's a little bit different. So obviously good to see that happen. I hope he just doesn't get too trigger happy from deep. Continues to probe, continues to get in the paint and make things happen. There are people who are incapable of making passes that have good vision, and there's players who have great passing ability that can't, find players. Like there are certain passes that Daniss can make that are just unreal. He had a left-handed, one-handed pass to a corner tonight. He's very good in the pick and roll, good touch pass when it comes to like lobbing to Soriano on rolls and what may have you. His issues sometimes come with just vision or maybe just holding the ball too long. But when he is able to and willing to find his teammates, there's not a pass he can't make. And it's not just the simple variety. It's, an elite level stuff, just a few too many occasions, and it's getting less and less of him holding it for too long or taking an inopportune shot. But the ability and the talent is certainly there, and I'll stand by that. I'm certainly glad he decided to follow Patino, and he's having a heck of a season so far. Should we take a look at this box score?
Check it out.
That's what the people are really here for, right? Let's be honest.
The graphics, they missed it when you were out.
Well, here they are. St. John's 75, Providence 73. We get the most important thing, which is a win. I'm not sure how much the metrics will get boosted in terms of all that other stuff that happens in the goings of the game. I know these double-digit wins have really added an extra boost to our net and our Ken Palm and stuff like that. I'll take the W and be happy enough. Couple guys with 16 points, Jenkins and Soriano. Soriano had that quiet first half. It seemed like just like in the Hofstra game where they played small most of the game, and Providence tonight played 4 guards often. Those teams have done a good job of really swarming Joel and making it tough for those entry passes to get to him. And the more and more we struggle to get to him, the more and more we seemingly try to force it, and then it becomes, a double-edged sword. We're not only not able to get it to him, but we're taking ourselves out of a rhythm by trying to force it to him. And sometimes I feel like the best times are when we're just playing basketball and he gets touches off offensive rebounds, and the next thing you know, he's got 10 to 12 points that way. But Providence did a good job keeping it out of his hands in the first half. In the second half, he got going a little bit. 4 for 8 from the field, 7 rebounds, 8 for 11 from the free throw line. I think those 3 misses all came in the second half, but I can't say that for certain. Jenkins, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Dingle had 9 points, I think, all in the first half. Dunlap had at least 7 in the first half. He had that dunk in the second half. Nice springs there by Brady. The dance is really showing off those casts.
What a tremendous pass by Jenkins on the backdoor.
Yeah, that backdoor left-handed pass right there. Zuby, again, box score won't really show, but I thought had a great stretch in the game. Some good defensive minutes, a dunk, a couple nice rolls. He sets great screens. He gets his extra possessions. Really good stuff out of Zuby. Took an open 3 in the first half, almost dropped, didn't look terrible. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that shot, Cole.
I was questioning it when but if it almost drops, it's one of those no, and then it almost goes in. You say, okay.
Worst shot, that shot or Joel's 3 in the second half?
Might have been Joel's 3 in the second half because I think there was a lot of time left on the
You got to weigh the scenarios here. I think they were both terrible. Well, sorry, Zuby. I shouldn't say terrible. You're wide open, maybe even very in practice. First half, whatever. But Joel, at least you can say he's a 75% three-point shooter on the year. So we've seen him make it. But, 20 seconds on the shot clock. I think we were up 9 points with under 5 minutes left. And then Joel had the audacity. I'm going to say it here. The audacity to look to the bench and say, what's the problem? Well, hey, we're living and learning. Like I said, learning and wins. And Joel has earned the right to make a few of those mistakes. Had a really huge and one in the second half when it looked like Providence was making their run and we were falling out of our rhythm. Kind of got us back in the game, got the crowd back in the game. And from there, we were able to push the lead back up and hold on for dear life. Anything with the box score stand out to you, Cole?
friend of the program, Jaden Daly, posted the box score from MSG, and one of my favorite analytics, the plus minus, was on there. So I was taking a stare at that just to see what else I could divulge from there. And RJ led the team in plus minus at plus 14, and Ledlam was last on the team at minus 14. So you wonder how much of that, with Chris is being hurt, you could tell he's still hobbled out there. And RJ, like we said, played a tremendous game. So I thought that was interesting, and wonder how far away from completely healthy Chris is, but still coming in, and even if he's not at full strength, being able to board the way he always does, tremendous to have him out there. Joel, like you mentioned, 16 points, only 2 at halftime. So another one of those games of being really, really quiet, and then halftime, Patino makes an emphasis to get the big men the ball, and he puts up 14 in the second half. So, again, like we've mentioned, just escape with a W. At the end of the day, I'm happy to have beaten a hobbled Providence by 2 points. A win is a win is a win. So,
yeah, a win is a win is a win. That's a good point. Yeah, shout out to Jaden for his coverage. I can get the plus minus. It just these screens. I'm working with a small, not too much area to work with here. So I had to substitute some things. You don't notice we don't even have the turnovers up there tonight. So we'll go by your handwritten notes there, and let's see what we can do. A couple of things on Lewis and Ledlam. I thought Ledlam right away, you could see his help on the boards early. That plus minus is a little bit surprising to me. I'd have to really go back and see what times he was in there and we were struggling in those segments. But I didn't think he played poorly. He obviously wasn't much of a scoring threat tonight, but on the glass, he looked like he was battling pretty heavily. 6 rebounds in his time there tonight. And Lewis, I'm a huge fan. Maybe his biggest fan, president of the fan club, have been from the beginning. But I'm not sure if we've really seen him play great these last few games. He's made great impacts. He's had great stretches, but he's also had some down periods in each of these games. And I'm not sure if he's shot over 50% in any single game since the Holy Cross debut. So I think he can shore up a little things and turn this, really solid start into actually fantastic play. And if he's able to do that, St. John's could have another level possibly on their hands. Hopefully Brady Dunlap is healthy, by the way. That's he was able to come back in, but he still looked hobbled. And with the kid playing so well, and how about that first 3 minutes we saw from Brady tonight? You'd hate to see him have to go to the doctor's office for a few games and miss out on some of this momentum.
Yeah, to your point about RJ, I think, and we mentioned earlier, sort of some of the lackadaisical passes that has to get tightened up, and obviously with a coach and a developer like Rick Pitino, like RJ, the ceiling is through the roof. Like, right, he has so much potential. It's hard to imagine it. He should be taking a large amount of shots every game. So even if you're right, hasn't shot above 50%, like I'm fine with him taking as many shots as he has been. The lackadaisical passes for sure has to get cleaned up. Another thing that I seem to notice very often with him is we talk so much about how aggressive he is on the boards and his amazing explosiveness, and he'll get a rebound and he obviously has a great handle and he pushes the ball. Am I the only one who realizes that he does not look up once he puts his head down and just starts running, going to the rim, coast to coast? I think today it was early in the second half. I ended up drawing a foul and going to the line, but it might have been a 4-on-3 fast break, and he's just taking the ball right to the rim. Which, I mean, if he's going to draw a foul, right on. I'm all here for it. But I think as much as Rick raves about his passing ability, sometimes in those fast break scenarios, I'd like to see him give it up. I think he had another situation where he got the ball on a deep outlet pass from, maybe it was Dingle. Might have been able to give it up to Soriano, who was trailing down the court. And instead, I think he also drew a foul on that possession as well. But
like I had said earlier about Jenkins, in terms of players who can make passes but don't always see them, he might be just one of them. Like, we saw some really high-level passes in person at Holy Cross. He had that beautiful bounce pass. He's shown a few from mid-post, distributing from there, but he does have a tendency, and I don't think you're the only one who sees it, of him putting his head down and, just going right to the rim in attack mode. But that might be something that can, come with some increased exposure to help defense at this level, and realizing where it comes from and what we can do to alleviate that. So I'm sure Rick's working on it. Like you said, we got the master Trying to get him better. And hopefully Lewis is here for the long haul and we get to see him for 3 years in a St. John's jersey doing big things in March and April. Because that's where it looks like St. John's may be headed to play this year, fans. So keep intact. I'm so happy, so excited we could be joining, talking about this good stuff and be sharing this content with you guys. I'm so happy that you guys have been commenting and subscribing to the YouTube page and following along on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Cole and myself really appreciate it. Till next time. For Glenn Taylor Jr., man, I'm thinking about you. All right, pulling for you. I'm Pat Kane. That's Cole Adshaw. Red Storm Rap Reaction Podcast. Peace.